Hey YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek Goodness, my little channel web for all things geeky and cool. And welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to a brand new Funko review. Now this review is going to be a little bit different than my traditional Funko reviews. Normally I would do a review where it'd be one pop, maybe two, possibly three at the most. We're looking at a full wave of 6 pops talking about the DC Superheroes Holiday Pops. Now if you're not familiar with Holiday Pops, for the last, I want to say 4 years or so, they've had different properties, different IPs that would be their holiday pops for that given year or two. They started out with Star Wars for about 2 years, then they transitioned to Marvel for I think 2 years, and now we're starting for DC, hopefully for both 2020 and 2021 going forward. Now they did have standalone items that were maybe a holiday pop and part of a, let's say, a mystery box, which was not part of a full wave. They did that with Marvel for a couple things, and maybe even Star Wars or two, but this is a full completed wave of 6 pops. Now I've done not a full review, but I collected a full wave of them for the Star Wars one back in 2018, and I did one for Marvel in 2019 for the last wave, but I didn't do a video review for it. I'm doing one this time because these are pretty cool pops, and we're coming near the end of the year towards the holiday season. I thought, you know what, it'd be a perfect time to talk about these 6 bad boys right here. And we're talking about these 6 pops in a full breakdown segment. We'll look at the packaging as a whole. We'll look at the paint, the articulation, and conclude final thoughts for you, the viewer. Should you spend the money and pick up the DC Superhero Holiday Pops? Stay tuned, guys. We're going to a breakdown segment. Alright guys, we're in our breakdown segment looking at DC Superheroes Holiday Pops. And the very first thing we do in the breakdown segment is look at the packaging and presentation. But before I really dig deep into these pops, just a note first before I go any further. Since I'm reviewing 6 pops in this full entire wave, I'm going to review them single, one by one, put them on my turntable and spin them around 360 so you can see what they look like for the entire packaging for each one of these items. That being said, this review is going to run a little bit longer than my traditional reviews. Just be aware of that going forward for this review. So very first thing we do, we have a look at this pop here. We have the Superman in his holiday sweater. This is pop number 353, and I'm going to do them numerically as they're listed in the back of the packaging. We have up here, we have Pop Heroes. We have the DC Superheroes logo, number 353. A nice shot of Superman opening up his sweater, seeing the Superman logo right there on the inside. A nice shot of him right here. It does say Superman with his holiday sweater. On this side, you have a nice shot of Superman, what it would look like when we take the pop out of packaging. Over here, we have the traditional words, the Superman as in the holiday sweater. And the back of the packaging is what I'm talking about, where they have all 6 pops listed on the back of the packaging, sort of this red background. They all share the same background sort of color, this sort of red kind of homey colored feeling, a nice very warm feeling in the back, and a nice shot of Superman right here. Let's get him on the spinner so you can see what he looks like when he spins around here. Let's go right there. Very cool looking pop. Mind you, one thing, but I'm talking about for all these pops going forward, there are some special pops which are not part of this wave. There's an exclusive for a Target for a Joker, and there's the Dreamtide Batman, which is not listed as part of these 6 pops. So I'm not going to review those 2 particular pops in this review. So that's pop number 353 for Superman. Let's go for the next one. In this case, we're looking at pop number 354, Wonder Woman. Again, Pop Heroes here, DC Superheroes at the top, number 354 right here. You have a nice shot of Wonder Woman with her magical lasso, which it looks like Christmas lights, which we'll talk more about that in the breakdown segment. A nice shot of her right here. It does say Wonder Woman, and I think it says, yeah, with string of a light lasso right there. A nice shot of her right here. Again, the words on the side, this is Wonder Woman with her string lasso, number 354. Again, the same sort of image in the back of the packaging and all the pops available in that wave. We'll get a 360 of her real quick as well. I think I have the most to talk about, and near the end of this video, my final thoughts, kind of thinking about this particular pop, I think they could have done a lot more with this pop than any of the pops in this wave. I'll talk more about that when we get this pop out of package and we conclude the pop, especially in the final thoughts segment, where you kind of understand where I'm coming from with this pop. When you really think about it, they could have done so much more with this pop, but they didn't. So with that being said, that's 354. Next, we'll move over to Batman as Ebenezer Scrooge. We have again Pop Heroes here, DC Superheroes, number 355. Batman right there holding a little candle with a nice little sleepy time cap on. He looks really, really good. I think this one has the most sort of emotion for a character that doesn't really show a lot of emotion, which is very, very cool. We have Batman right here as Ebenezer Scrooge. Over here, a nice shot of Batman, what he would look like out of packaging. Over here again, we have Batman as Ebenezer Scrooge, number 355. And again, the same color background we saw this time with Batman. He looks really, really good. I like this Batman, as I mentioned. He, to me, has the most most amount of emotion or personality from what looks like a character who's not really showing any emotion or personality, just because how they made the character's eyes look, like he's really upset, like he's coming downstairs to kind of confront the ghosts of the, you know, either Christmas past, present, or future. He doesn't look really happy. This is the typical Batman that we normally see, but this one has a lot of personality kind of ingrained into this pop, which I thought was very, very cool. So that was number 355. Moving on to 356, this is Flash as, I believe, Holiday Dash. This one to me is the weakest of them, personally speaking, of all the characters of the Holiday Wave. I didn't like this guy that much, but we have Pop Heroes, DC Superheroes number 356, Flash as Dasher right here, nice shot of him over here. At the bottom does say Flash as the Reindeer Dasher, or Holiday Dash. Over here, a nice shot of him over here, which will look like out of packaging. On this side, we do have, again, the Flash as Holiday Dash, and the same sort of deal with the characters that are on the back of the packaging for the entire full wave. Just my thoughts on this guy. I think they could have done more with this particular pop, which we'll talk more in the breakdown about. To me, I don't know, something about this one seems a little off. I'm not sure what it is or what really kind of hits home with that point. I think I might know the idea when I go into the breakdown, which we'll talk about that shortly. Next, we have to look at probably one of the cooler characters in this wave, which was Harley Quinn. We have, of course, Pop Heroes, again, the same logo, DC Superheroes, number 357. We have the nice window box display of Harley in this sort of festive green and red sort of color. Like she has the mistletoe in her hair, and she has, I believe the character's name is Bruce, it's listed as Helper, but I believe her hyena's name is Bruce, a la Bruce Wayne. I believe that's what the hyena's called, or one of her hyenas, rather. It does say Harley Quinn here with Helper. Over here, a nice shot of what she looks like with her Helper. Over here, again, the verbiage, what it says for Harley Quinn with Helper. And again, the back of the packaging, same sort of deal that we've seen for the other figures in this wave. Like the way it looks. I think, again, this one seems to have the most, I think it's the coolest of the entire wave. I think this is probably the coolest version of Harley, especially with the Bruce character or the Helper with the cool reindeer little antlers on her, on the hyena's head. I think that one looks really, really cool. Again, we'll talk more about that when we get him out of packaging. And of course, last but not least, we have to talk about Mr. J, the Joker himself, the clown prince of crime. I had to get that tongue twister there. So again, we have Pop Heroes, DC Superheroes, number 358. A nice shot of the Joker, what he's holding looks like a bomb in his hand right there. It does say the Joker as Santa Claus, which is very, very cool. He has his little sack on the side and has his little bomb in his hand. A nice side shot of what it looked like out of packaging. Again, over here, we have Joker as the Santa. On the back of the packaging, you have all the characters that, again, will be available in that particular wave. Just some thoughts about this one. I like this one too. Just like I like Harley Quinn, you don't see someone like iconic as Santa Claus linked to the Joker. So that's what makes it very, very cool. I think this one has, again, a lot of personality. As I mentioned at the beginning of this portion of the breakdown segment, there is an exclusive version of Joker as Jack Frost, which is they take nods to this particular character of this sculpt. They tweaked it a little bit and made it as a Target exclusive, so it's not the same version of the Joker. It looks a little bit different, but that's not this review for that particular piece. That'll probably be a separate one because I want to contain just these 6 pieces. With that being said, guys, I'll get a shot of all the guys here that make up all this wave, and then we'll get all of them out of packaging. Alright guys, we have our DC Holiday Pops out of packaging. Next thing we do, take Pops out of packaging, is look at the paint and articulation. First, we'll start off with Superman in his holiday sweater. Great looking pop. Like the way he looks. He has his kind of neat little Santa hat on over here. The only one of 2 that don't need a figure stand. This one and Joker don't need a figure stand. All the other ones require figure stands for them to stand properly, just because of the way they're weighted, or they have too much weight on the side of their head, or too much weight on their back. This one and Joker are the only ones that don't need a figure stand. He looks really cool. He's opening up his shirt here, the holiday sweater, to have the S emblazoned on the inside. There is a variant of this one here that is a flocked version as opposed to this one, which is the unflocked version. Let's get a look at that head sculpt right there. It looks very good. The nice little S curl. Again, the S, the Superman S shield right there, emblazoned where he's opening up his sweater. Looks very, very cool. An entire Santa outfit looks very, very neat. Articulation is present. Head will spin 3 360 with no hindrance, as these are DC pops. There is no bobblehead. I'm very happy about that. Very, very cool pop, all things considered. He's a little bit back heavy just because there's so much sculpt on the back of his head. We'll take him around for a 360 so you can see what he looks like. Again, looks very, very cool. Neat looking pop. Mine's a little scuffed on the top of the hat. When you see it spin around, you'll see the scuffing, which is going to be over here. You'll see it spin around. That looks to be probably a quality control issue. You'll see it right there. More than anything else, apologies for the weird light glare, but all things considered, very cool pop. Very, very strong in this wave. I like the way he looks. Not the best, but not the worst. So very, very cool for Superman. We'll put him off to the side. Next, we have a look at Wonder Woman, and her magic lasso. Now, her figure stand is very, very loose. I don't know if that's a quality control issue per se, but hers seems to be the loosest of all the pops in this wave. Now, one thing that's cool, which I was kind of mentioning in the beginning of the breakdown, is her magic lasso, this light ring here, these Christmas lights, which I think they could have done a lot more and maybe made this a chase figure variation to do maybe LED lights with her magic lasso Christmas lights. I think that would have been a very, very cool idea. We've seen Christmas lights with both Chewbacca from Star Wars and the Groot from Marvel. They're keeping the trend alive using Christmas lights in their pops, but I think they did something very, very cool, having a really cool looking base, maybe presents on the bottom to hide maybe the LED light effects, maybe a microchip or a battery. They could have made these LEDs and make them flash on and off. I think that would have been a very cool idea, all things considered, but she does look good as is. Again, the lasso is out where she's holding it. She's in sort of a holiday kind of, not really a sweater, but maybe a gown or a cape. You can see right here. You have the white on the trim on the sides right here. Articulation will go and does get hampered just because of the lights and the back of the cape. I'll pick her up so you can see. I'll take her off the figure stand so you can see where it gets stuck by this cape and her arm. It does get clipped by this green light right here. I could probably force it, which I can do, and spin it around, but it does get clipped and hindered by this green light right here, so be aware of that. Just pick it up maybe and move the light out of the way to get the clearance you need to spin it around. All things considered, very cool looking pop in her traditional Wonder Woman outfit, as far minus the cape and the hood pulled up, the tiara right here. Very cool look, very stoic look on Wonder Woman's face. Very cool looking pop, all things considered. Again, I think they could have done something cool with this light effect or this lasso kind of playing the idea of Christmas lights. They could do something very, very cool. Again, the figure stand is a bit loose on this one. Your mileage may vary, so be aware of that. Let's bring her back in for a 360. I kind of don't want to shortchange you guys so you can see the 360, what she looks like. All things considered, very, very cool pop. Again, the LED light effect would have been very, very neat to do if they would have made a chase version of it to give the electronics. I would assume because of cost, it would probably be like maybe a $20, $25 pop if they wanted to include the light effects. It just would have been probably very expensive to do that, to make them flash on and off, or maybe different light effects to have them, have them all on or dance around. I think that would have been a very, very cool idea, but of course, Funko did not go in that direction. Next, take a look at Batman as Ebenezer here. Now, he was a little weird. The peg for him seemed a little bit off as well. I'm going to move a little closer so you can see what it looks like, so get a better shot, because he has this hat on that dangles to the side, and it makes him extremely side heavy. He does need a figure stand. His body is very, very lanky and very, very slim. He does have a little robe on. He does look very, very, very cool. As mentioned, he does have this sort of, a lot of personality kind of ingrained in his pop, because we know Batman to be very, 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 very moody at most of the time, but he does look very, very cool, like he just woke up out of bed. He has a candle in his hand. Looks very, very good. One thing you may not notice, but I'll kind of draw your attention, are the Bat Bunny slippers. Or I do like that little touch here. It looks very, very cool. I didn't really notice it at first, and I thought it was very, very neat. Does he have articulation? He does. Not sure about the hindrance. He has clearance, it looks like. And let's take a look here. It does spin around, but he does get clipped by the candle over here. So you can't, like how we cheated Wonder Woman, you can't really cheat this one. This one does not have full 360 clearance because of how he's holding the candle to the side. It will get caught up when you spin the head around. So he has about maybe 270 clearance, almost all the way around, but you can't get it to complete the 360 revolution, just because of how long this hat is right here, this sleeping cap he has. But all things considered, very cool looking pop. I like the way he looks. As I mentioned before, he has the most amount of personality out of all these pops. Looks very, very cool. The sleeping cap, the dark colors with the robe. He has sort of like, I'll take a shot of the chest in a second, just because he looks like he's buttoned up for his jammies. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a one piece or a onesie for his jammies. You can see the center where it's like the robe is like buttoned up right there. So again, very cool looking pop. Very, very iconic character, just with a different personality as Ebenezer Scrooge. So again, very cool pop nonetheless. Next, we'll look at Flash as Dasher. This is the one that I had the most concern with, because if he has a red nose, that means he should be Rudolph, not Dasher. So I'm a little bit confused by that approach. It should have said Rudolph. Now, maybe they couldn't put Rudolph, maybe for copyright reasons. Maybe they couldn't get around that sort of thing. But to me, he shouldn't be Dasher. Yes, I get Flash and Dash. I get that sort of idea. But if he has a red nose on, that screams Rudolph, not Dasher. So I don't know what approach Funko was taking there. Let me go a little closer so you can see the horns on his head. Looks very, very cool. Neat, like he's wearing the deer antlers right there. So very, very cool look for Flash. I'll take him off the figure stand, because he does need a figure stand. He's in this sprint stance right here. You see the lightning bolt. We've seen this lightning bolt sort of effect happening before. There's another one that probably could have did something cool with the light up gimmick, maybe making the lightning bolt light up and the nose light up. Would have been another cool approach Funko could have taken. Just thinking about it out loud right now. Articulation, he does spin 360 with no hindrance. He does have some lightning coming off the side right here and his sack over his shoulder. So again, very cool approach to Flash. Something a little bit different. In another running pose. We've seen Flashes in running poses before. So kind of neat, different sort of approach for Flash. Again, I think they could have called him Rudolph instead of calling him Dasher or Dash. It's listed on the box as quote-unquote Dash, but when you think of a reindeer, you think Dasher, of course, for Santa, and the red nose is just a giveaway for Rudolph. So again, I find that a little bit odd why Funko went in that particular direction. Again, maybe because of trademark or copyright, they couldn't do Rudolph. That's my thought for that one. But all things considered, the weakest of all 6 of those pops. So let's move on to the next one. We're looking at probably, again, the strongest pop in my personal opinion, and that is the Harley Quinn and her quote-unquote helper, little hyena. First, we'll take a look at the hyena, because he looks really, really neat. He has his little deer horns on, just like we saw for the Flash figure. There is no articulation. He's a little action piece. We've seen the hyenas before for Harley Quinn. It is dressed up a little spiked collar. He does have a little green mohawk. He has a little green tuft of hair coming off. He has a painted red nose as well. Neat little character. This gives a lot more personality to the Harley Quinn pop. So let's look at Harley now. Harley looks good. We've seen a sculpt similar to this before. I do love the attention to detail with the green and red and the mistletoe on the top of her head, the green and red mallet over here, the green and red. They bisected the character with one side being green partially on her dress. Then she had green up here. They kind of off shot the colors where it was green on one side and green on the other type of side. Then you have red on the bottom and red on the top of the other corner, like going catty corner for the shirt, which you can see right here as I'm mentioning. So you have sort of red here, green here, and then you have the red, and then the red over here, green, and then green. I like that attention to detail, sort of like a candy cane mallet, it looks like, because you have the handles as this candy cane, or like a barbershop pole would look, where it's red and white and spinning or spiral, but it has a feeling like a candy cane to me. Very cool version of Harley Quinn. Again, at the top right here, we have the mistletoe in her hair. Looks really, really good. I like the touches of the red right here and the green on both the front and back of her ponytail. Looks really, really good. I think this is the strongest of all the characters. If you had to buy only one, I would definitely buy the Harley Quinn. She has the most personality of all the characters of the sixth wave, of this full sixth wave. To me, she has the most color. I didn't mention that she has sort of look like a blush on her eyes. One side is green, one side is red. Again, to show the lateral colors. You'll see it when I come back over here, where we had green on this side right here. She has red over here, I believe. I'll make sure I'm correct here. Yeah. So she has red right here and green on most of it. And then she has on the other side, she has red over here and green on this side. So very, very cool use of color for Harley Quinn. She doesn't really sit too well on her figure stand as well. Very similar to, let's say, Wonder Woman. She is extremely the back heavy. You can see you're kind of leaning a little bit here just because the sheer size of the sculpt for this thing, just a massive amount of sculpt with these back ponytails, really needs a figure stand for this character to really stand. As I mentioned, we had of the 6 characters, 2 of them don't need figure stands. All the other ones you've got to have figure stands for it to work. And last but not least, the Clown Prince of Crime. I keep saying that wrong. The Clown Prince of Crime himself, the Joker, dressed up as Santa. Like this Joker, looks very, very cool. Again, Santa hat. We've seen the Santa hat before, like we saw it for Superman, but very, very cool version of him. He has the Joker colored sack right here. His colors, the sort of purple and green, which I do like that touch to detail. He has purple on the bottom right here. He has a Santa like coat on, long coat, long Santa hat as we saw before. A bomb right here with you see the fuse going, and it's like going off in his hand. Looks good. Green gloves, black shoes. We see this sort of look for Joker. I love the smile, the smirk for Joker. Looks really, really good. If you had to pick a second pop to buy, I'd probably go with this one or Superman. Those are the 2, besides Harley, would be definite buys, in my personal opinion, of this entire wave. So with that being said, guys, let's finish these up and take a look at final thoughts and wrap up this video. All right, guys, final thoughts on the DC Superheroes Holiday Pops. What do I think about them? And should you buy these for your own collection? I thought it was an okay wave. It wasn't the greatest wave of Pops. It was an okay wave. It was something a little bit different. DC tried their take and doing holiday themed Pops, which was different again, like Star Wars did it in Marvel for the last 4 years before them. I thought it was a great idea for DC to try to do this. I think there were some hurdles they have to overcome, especially with the Flash Pop as Dash. Again, I don't think it's the right approach. It should have been Rudolph, not Dash. That's just me being picky. There could have been some light up gimmicks with this one, where the nose could have lit up. A couple things they could have done different with that pop here. Again, the Wonder Woman, I talked about it in depth in the breakdown segment. They could have done something very, very cool. They could have charged a higher price point. They could have did LED lights in the magical lasso for the light up lasso. I think that would have been a very, very cool approach to take. They didn't go that road. Again, I think it's something they could have done. It would probably be, as I mentioned, the breakdown, probably a $20 pop. It'd be more expensive to put some type of light LED effect on this pop. But all things considered, what would I buy, or who would I buy if I had a la carte and buy them individually? Should I buy the entire wave? If you like the DC characters, if you like the holiday pops, then yeah, go ahead, go for it. But buy it when it's a deal in place. Let's say, for example, buy 2, get 1 free, buy 2, get a third, 75% off, something along those lines. As I mentioned, if you had to a la carte, a piece them out, who would I mention buying? First, it would be Harley Quinn. I think she's the best and the coolest looking pop out of this entire wave. Next, I would probably go maybe Superman and possibly Batman. These 3 here, the Superman, the Batman, and the Harley Quinn, in my personal opinion, are the best. The Joker's okay, but he's sort of a little plain. The Flash, again, I mentioned they could have changed him up, make him a little bit better. The Batman here, he doesn't have full articulation. That is a problem to me. He's extremely side heavy. This hat here is way too much sculpting. If this figure stand, and this particular one I saw, I didn't mention it in the breakdown, the quality control, the peg itself isn't super tight, and you have to really push that peg in to make it hold. The Wonder Woman, as I mentioned before, they could have did a lot more with this one. Her figure stand is very, very loose as well. Superman looks great. Love the way he looks, opening up the shirt with the S symbol. Very, very cool. Again, we did not talk about the 2 pops which were outside this wave, which was the Jack Frost Joker, which is like this Joker, but in a blue-colored scheme, and the Silent Night Batman, which is a completely different version. It's Ebenezer version of Batman. The Jack Frost one is a Target exclusive. The Silent Night Batman is a Hot Topic exclusive. So, personal opinion, if I had to buy any one of these individually, buy Harley Quinn first. If you're looking to buy more of them, go with Superman and probably go with the Ebenezer Batman. That's my personal take on the DC Holiday Pops. I do hope you like this video review. Remember to click the like button at the bottom of the page. Click the subscribe button with a picture of my face. When you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified when I latest videos. And of course, last but not least, you can click windows over here to watch more of my content. Take care, guys. See you next video. And bye-bye.